Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective.
Yes, welcome.
I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX TV in San Francisco.
You got it.
And Bruce McGowan. Bruce McGowan.
Yes, and we should mention that Vernon Glenn's birthday is today. So
Hey, happy birthday.
As we tape this show, I'm 53 years young.
And I'm going to be 55 when the show airs.
Wow, nice.
Wow, okay.
I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm old enough to collect Social Security. So let's just.
That's okay. All right. Now, today's going to be a special show because we have a guest, Kim Juarez, who is going to teach us a little about nutrition.
We don't have too many females on the show.
Not too many. We've had a few. We've had a few. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about nutrition. But before we get into it with Kim, we're going to obviously talk about some football.
Well, this is the weekend.
The National Football League.
That's right. AFC, NFC
boy.
championship games coming up for the right to go to Super Bowl 49.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Super Bowl
It'll be exciting. Now, at every commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question, and the first three emails with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. They just want a $75 cleaning fee to cover the housekeeping expenses. Other than that, it is free. And you can listen to Sports Econ 101 on iHeartRadio and TuneIn Radio and Sports Byline USA. We're all over the country. And this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding, get this, over 8%, secured by real estate.
Do you hear that, America? See, that's the show host, and he's saying 8%.
Oh.
You hear that?
And if you look at their portfolio, it's less than 50% loan to value. I mean, it's unbelievable. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com.
Will you be my financial advisor, please?
Yeah, for 8.5% or whatever they're paying, and they're paying on a monthly basis. Holy smokes! All right,
I just want him to be my daddy. That's what I want.
That's right. Who's your daddy? That's right. Okay, so stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, and we will be right back. That's right. Okay, so that's our
intro.
You guys so jovial.
Oh, it's fun. We have a good time.
When have we been doing this? About a year and a half now, has it been?
Since May of 2014.
Wow.
And the other show, the business one, I've had on, gosh, for 4.5 years.
I thought we started before last year. I thought we started doing
May
this.
2014.
Was it?
Wait a minute. No, you're right.
2013.
May
2013.
2013.
Yeah, 2013.
I
Because
got
I
you
remember
right.
yeah.
You are correct.
I was still doing the Pacifics games.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I hadn't
You
been
guys
at
are just
Channel
talking
5 very
fools.
long.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
That's right.
I think we can do
You're
that.
like
We
Forrest
don't
Gump.
do much else, you know? What are you good for?
Your
Just
spouse
talking.
is saying, quit talking.
Yeah, that's my wife says that. She says, I can hear you. I don't need you. I'm not across the room. I'm right here.
Oh, I know my wife does the same thing. Edward, you're not on the
Lower
radio
your voice,
now. You're at
please.
home.
Yeah.
I said, hey, baby, but what are you doing?
Good morning, man.
Good
Oh,
morning.
yeah.
So is your wife planning for something nice for you tonight, Vernon? You got to take you out to
I don't
dinner?
know. We just kind of make it up as we go along. But we can't really, with three kids, all with like different schedules. It's
Yeah.
just
Now you
it's
got
just tough to carve out time.
14-year-old, right? The oldest. Or is it 15?
15, 13, 10.
Wow.
How
All
old are your
boys.
kids?
17, 15, 12, and 9.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're not busy at all.
Oh, I just have the one and that's enough.
It is. We had two and we were outnumbered.
Yeah. One is great.
Got the sons of
One's
Marin
good.
Catholic.
Double-teamer.
Is
I
the son
know.
of Marin Catholic?
Yep.
Is he playing ball?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got that right. Okay.
Here we go.
You ready?
All right, here we go. Our foot's in it.
Segment.
Let's do it.
Segment number 2. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Vern, why don't you start us off with what's going on in football?
Well, we got the AFC and the NFC championship games, and what do you think, Bruce? Probably the best 4 teams
No
left, huh?
question. No question. I just think almost everybody feels that Green Bay is really going to get overwhelmed in Seattle. And I know Aaron Rodgers has had an MVP type season, but he's playing with a strained calf. They got some breaks last week. There was a call that really I think was questionable, but going by the letter of the law, Des Bryant did not catch.
So
the
you
ball.
thought that was a catch by Des Bryant?
Yeah, I did.
So
But
did I.
technically it wasn't. It's kind of like the Tom Brady tuck rule.
Oh,
I mean
no,
that
bring that one up.
really still sticks to my
Well,
craw.
Calvin Johnson started it off with a
That's
catch.
true.
I mean, it looked untrained eye, looked like
Yeah.
a touchdown, and then said, no, you have to come down with control.
Yeah.
And he didn't really have complete control.
I guess he did.
Yeah, the thing with Des Bryant, though, it looked like he actually had control and he was stretching for the end zone for the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So just because the ball comes out after that, that's why I thought he also scored a touchdown. But, of course, he didn't get flagged the week before coming onto the field with that bad no call. Or pick up the flag call.
I'll tell you, though, the Green Bay game with Dallas and the Patriots game with Baltimore, those were just two terrifically exciting games, fraught with a lot of, highs and lows. And I think anybody who really follows football closely would have to pick New England and Seattle in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and then,
I was hoping it was going to be Seattle and Baltimore.
How about Cam Cameron leaping over a man twice?
Twice, yeah. That was
on
amazing.
that field goal.
That was amazing.
That was in that game. I mean the KAM Cam prevailed. I mean Seattle's just they'll just work you over.
Well, that defense is just going to be so tough, and to beat them in Seattle is going to be, I think, nearly impossible. Although again, Aaron Rodgers, despite his problems with that calf, he's got some pretty good weapons to work with, and he's as good a quarterback as you'll find in the NFL. So there's no reason to think they can't stay close. I don't see him scoring a lot of points.
I'm looking at our guest Kim nodding her head, and I think she was thinking the exact same thing. Isn't that right, Kim?
Yes.
Well, your son plays football, so you know the game.
We're a football family.
Yeah. Does he now? Will your son sit back on the couch? Will he watch the game, or would he rather just go outside and play it?
Both. He does like to sit and watch.
Okay.
But he gets a little antsy.
And is he leaning forward, taking like mental notes as he's watching, or he just kind of looks at a couple of plays, takes a play off?
No, he's leaning forward.
Really?
Jumping up off the couch.
All right.
Oh,
okay.
Well, what's the first Super Bowl you guys can actually remember?
The first one I vividly remember is Super Bowl IV, when the Chiefs.
You know what? That's the same one for me.
Minnesota Vikings.
I
was what was I? I was 8. 8, 7, something like that, and I just see images of Super Bowl III, but I can't decide whether it's my memory or whether it's NFL films that I've seen so many times.
Yeah, I just don't remember Namath, doing that, but I do remember I was a big Minnesota fan.
Now I do remember sitting on the couch watching Jim O'Brien kick the winning field goal to beat Dallas in Super Bowl V.
That was on my
birthday.
Thank you very
much. Was it really?
It was.
I'm
February 17th, 1971.
I'm going to really date myself because I remember my first game I remember watching was the 1958 Colts-Giants NFL Championship game. I was 6 years old, and it was an overtime game won by Johnny Unitas and the Colts. And my dad told me, he goes, "Don't forget this game."
Yeah.
So the Super Bowl to me I was in high school when the Super Bowl opened, and to me it was not that big a deal. As a matter of fact, the first two Super Bowls were kind of an afterthought because the NFL champions were the Green Bay Packers, and the Chiefs and Raiders had no chance in those games, and they got wiped out. But then the Jets pulled off the huge upset, and it wasn't really an upset.
Well, it's funny. I think if they go back to the first Super Bowl, they show it's like I think it was a high school football, high school cheerleading team.
That's right.
That basically did the halftime activities.
They didn't even sell the place out. The LA Coliseum had 67,000 people at a stadium that held 100,000. They did not even sell it out because it wasn't that big a deal. But the thing was, the old AFL, that was a great league. I love the old AFL.
Sure. Houston Oilers did pretty well.
Well, the Oakland Raiders were in late 60s. That was my team. I grew up a Raider fan, so.
And I believe a ticket for the first Super Bowl was $35, I think.
That was pretty expensive,
50
actually.
years
Think
ago?
about it.
$35.
Wow.
In 1967.
Yeah.
That actually would be very expensive.
That would be.
Wow. So just one last thing on the Des Bryant thing. Because I was thinking, don't they consider that a football move, a continuation play, if you're trying to reach for the end zone?
I guess. Again, I think Vern made a point that, or maybe it was you that made the point, that if you fall down and you're not in control of the ball and then you manage to secure control after you've fallen down, that's not a catch. And technically, he didn't make that catch, but I think that's a rule that they got to change.
I think if you fall down on the ground, so your back is on the ground,
right,
and you're bobbling the ball and it lands on your belly, and you secure it, that's a catch.
That's a catch.
Absolutely. But he was on his belly, kind of squirming for the goal line. The ball like popping up through.
But
like
it never actually touched the ground.
That's the important thing. It never hits the ground. I mean, I remember a play where I think this was Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't remember who they were playing. A guy got upended, and it was really scary because he landed on his head. I mean, the way it happened. And everyone was so freaked out, even the whole audience was kind of like this. And what happened was the ball popped out of his hands. It never hit the ground, and it was intercepted. But they actually called it an incomplete pass because they were just so scared about, oh my God, is this guy going to be like paralyzed for the rest of his life? He ended up being okay, but I was looking at it and I go, okay, he's fine, so let's get rid of that for just a minute. I
How
said,
long ago was
place.
this? How many years
This
ago?
was probably about 20 years ago.
Okay, so before instant replay. I mean, they had instant replay, but they didn't have it like today.
For that, yeah, and I'm looking, I'm going, wait a minute, guys, it's like, when guys collide and someone's hurt, you go, well, okay, like in baseball, you go, yeah, but you know what? Like Mookie Wilson and Lenny.
Lenny Dykstra.
Thank you. I was saying Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Dykstra. They kissed.
Yeah.
They got.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you know what? You continue around the bases for an inside the park home run.
That's right.
On that.
Who do you got? Who do you got in the AFC, Bruce? Who do you got?
I think you have to pick New England. Although Baltimore is, or I shouldn't say Baltimore. I keep thinking the Colts are Baltimore. Indianapolis is a great story, and Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck, man, he was strong.
Oh yeah.
What is he had? 40 touchdowns and 5 interceptions all season. That's oof.
He's a big boy too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Smart.
Watch him for the future.
And the Patriots come with you. I mean, did you see the play where Shane Vereen comes out of the huddle and he says, "Look, I'm the ineligible guy." And he played tackle on one play. I mean, there's so many funny things.
That was my next point: is how much time should the Ravens have been given to assess which lineman was eligible? Because apparently one of the big things that Harbaugh was complaining about was we weren't really told like which lineman, or it seemed to be some confusion. So
But if there's 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, then that's it. It's not Belichick's or anybody's responsibility to tell
don't
John
confuse me with common sense and the facts. All I know is that's what he was complaining about.
I'll tell you one thing I like, and again, we're showing this show originates out of the San Francisco Bay Area. We've got a former Cal quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, a former Stanford quarterback, Andrew Luck, and 2 of the big stars for Seattle are Cal and Stanford guys, Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman. So that's kind of neat. And then you mentioned Shane Vereen, former Cal player who's with New England, and don't forget Doug Baldwin, wide receiver for Seattle, and there are a few others. Kobe Fleener, one of Andrew Luck's favorite targets, played at Stanford.
And don't forget about Aaron Rodgers, who is from the
Chicago.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll be a good recruiting situation for them then?
I don't know.
Speaking of recruiting, how about Ohio State, the 4th seed, winning the national championship?
That was amazing.
Talk about recruiting.
Boy, did I pick that one.
And I think and
Everybody did.
correct me if I'm wrong. Had they gone under the old BCS rule, Alabama would have played Oregon. Is that right?
Is that right? Is that how we win?
Yeah. So I mean, the playoff system works.
Yeah.
You got a 4-seeded team. They beat the number 2 and the number 1 team.
And poor Oregon.
They look good.
Oregon. How many? They've
And they
lost like 4
turnovers too.
Oregon's lost 4 games in the last 3 years, and they've lost twice in the national championship game.
0-2. Yeah. The bridesmaids twice.
All right, guys. We're gonna go to guys and ladies. We're gonna go to our first commercial break, and the trivia theme is Super Bowl quarterback.
Okay. All right.
What's the Super Bowl? Ready for this?
Go.
What distinction does Trent Dilfer, who quarterbacked the Baltimore Ravens over the New York Giants in Super Bowl 10, 20, 35, all these X's and B's, hold? Okay, what distinction does he have? Let me try this again. What distinction does Trent Dilfer, who quarterbacked the Baltimore Ravens over the New York Giants in Super Bowl 35, hold?
What distinction does he
Yeah,
have?
there's a specific distinction.
Something he did in the game.
Like
something
most
about-
yards passing or most yards rushing by a quarterback.
Something about him.
Okay.
Something specifically about him. Okay.
Interesting,
About his personality, his playing ability, his
About
stats.
his good looks. About his good looks. Okay, stay with us.
Something
We'll be
distinctive
right
about
back.
Trent Dilfer. All right.
Okay. That's a
Never
good
even
one.
heard that name.
God, I remember
He's
Trent
from
Dilfer.
Aptos.
Oh.
That Baltimore
Hey,
defense
what?
was
From
amazing.
Aptos.
Oh, he is?
Trent Dilfer? Yeah.
Now, Aptos, I know.
Yeah. That's not far for you. Okay. We'll get after the question, then we'll get into.
You got it.
And then we can come back to.
So my
football
family's
stuff.
following Jack Del Rio because
Oh.
my husband grew up with Jack. They
That's
were
all right.
all together.
And Hayward.
Hayward High.
I'd love to see him
Nice.
get that job.
Well,
And I hope
he's
Tony-
Well, he's
he
talking.
had his second
He's
talk
talking the
today.
Raiders for the
Yeah,
second
second
time. Yeah.
I think he and Tony Sperano are the inside guys because they'd like Sperano a lot, but Sperano I don't think they feel can take them to that higher level, and Del Rio might be able to get him out of the dunk.
Think your hubby can get the scoop? I could use a story to break.
Well, he would be true to Jack. He'd probably find out as soon as we did.
I hope that he's a big Raider fan too. He grew up a Raider.
I know. He
Yeah.
did. I know. So all of his Jack's friends that grew up with him were like, "Oh, he's coming home."
How's Rich doing? I haven't talked to him for a while.
Oh,
When
I
he-
was like, where's my husband?
Yeah.
He's doing well. Running around.
What does your husband do?
No, we quit there 5 years ago. He was a mortgage broker,
Oh,
so that all fell apart.
Oh.
He's helping me in my business at Lola,
Oh, that's
and he's
right.
doing
Okay.
some private speed and agility coaching. And
Oh, very good.
So he's a former athlete too.
he is
Yeah, you say play football, so yeah.
good.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. When we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question about Super Bowl quarterbacks. What distinction does Trent Dilfer, who quarterbacked the Baltimore Ravens over the New York Giants at Super Bowl 35, hold?
Gave the most Super Bowl interviews.
Probably.
I always think of that team as having that great defense. They shut the Oakland Raiders down, then they shut the Giants down, but I can't for the life of
And
me.
they just had him just come in and manage the game.
Yeah, he wasn't
really-
a great quarterback, but he didn't have to be.
God, did he throw for like less than 100 yards? Something weird like that.
Now, it is,
Yeah,
kind
what-
of, it is kind of a strange thing. Okay, he was the first starting quarterback to win a Super Bowl in his only season with the team.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
That is right.
It's kind of,
Yeah.
kind of an odd question, I
Pretty
know.
cool.
Yeah, that is kind of neat.
And then like maybe he's got 6 toes or something like that. You know?
That was a team that had Tony Saragusa, and I remember he
Yeah.
drilled Rich Gannon into the
Yeah.
turf and knocked him out of the game, and the Raider
It was
fans
like
just
full
incensed.
weight on Rich Gannon,
Oh,
like
yeah.
well over 300 pounds.
AFC.
Just boom.
Yeah, this is in the AFC Finals prior to the Super Bowl.
Prior
So,
to-
yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to go to our special guest. She's been very patient
Very patient.
in the studio here.
Wondering how you guys know all of this.
That-
Trivia.
We're good at
Practice.
we're good
Well,
at faking it.
we're gonna we're about to be schooled by fitness and nutrition.
Yeah,
you
That's
know,
it.
like-
Okay, so we have Kim Juarez, who's the CEO of Lola.
Lo,
Stands for-
Yeah.
Stands for Living Our Lives Actively.
I was going to say, isn't that a song by the Beatles?
No, by the Kinks.
The
The
Kinks.
Kinks. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. The Kinks. Of
Still
course.
remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, and she's also a certified trainer, and she came up with some excellent topics and suggested questions that we should go over.
Great.
Before we get into it, I must admit, and this might make her turn red a little bit, because Kim and I go back a little bit when our kids were younger,
So,
Yeah.
okay.
and so we used to all go to this rec league pool, and I remember the first time I saw Kim, she was look at her, she's like a physical specimen, right?
Yes,
So
she
so
is.
imagine this physical specimen in a 2-piece bikini, okay?
She's turning red.
So when she's walking around, all the dads are sucking in their gut. Just true story. The moms are feeling inferior,
Yeah. they
and I don't know if she even noticed the fact that the reason why all these guys are wearing their sunglasses because they were checking her out, and she was
they don't want
walking.
they don't want
There
the
you
wives
go.
to do, yeah.
Just
my
the-
husband walked up next to me.
That's right.
'cause
Yeah.
He's in pretty darn good shape himself.
Yeah.
He definitely
Well,
is.
thank you.
Okay. Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us. By the way, for those people listening on the radio, she's not in her 2-piece bikini.
No, she's
No,
not.
she's not.
No,
It's
she's not.
January.
Yeah.
It's only 60 degrees out here.
Yeah,
It's
but,
so cold.
it's an indoor state.
However,
Indoor,
your
air
that's true.
conditioned.
your YouTube audience there'd be a spike in the viewership. So that was
Okay, so I'm just going to get right into some of these, all right? So what's the latest in fad diets?
Fad diets. January is always a good time
Oh,
for
yeah.
people to focus on what they're eating, what they're not eating.
well, it's after the holiday. And oh my
That's
God,
right.
yes, yeah,
New
right.
Year's resolution.
Yeah, I want to get in
That's
shape.
right.
Yeah.
Sugar is the evil.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the evil.
Oh, I
Well,
love
let's-
this one.
Spoken from someone with a sweet tooth.
Yeah, okay.
As a nutritionist, we pay attention to all the diets that people are falling prey to these days, and I would say the biggest one we see is the paleo,
Yeah.
also known as caveman,
The caveman.
stone age diet. There's lots of.
I'm on the Stonehenge diet, but go ahead.
There's been a lot of different names
Yeah.
over the years. This is primarily based on how people ate in Paleolithic times.
Okay.
Meat and wild plants.
Interesting.
Yes, I do remind people when they are struggling on this diet that we're not living like Paleolithic times. We're
Right.
sitting all day,
Oh, yeah.
driving places, not walking.
And chocolate is a plant, right? That
Chocolate
works.
is.
There you go. I love this one.
Well,
Some alcohol, some caffeine.
Yeah.
But what are wild plants, though? Does that mean it's not just domestically raised vegetables or fruits? You say wild plants. What does
Right,
that mean?
whatever grew wild where the Paleolithic people lived in those
Mhm.
times.
Okay.
So berries, mushrooms,
You know who's really into the Paleolithic diet is Hunter Pence of the Giants.
Oh yeah.
Huge paleo guy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He kind of looks paleo.
He does. He does.
And with this wild
Whatever
stuff,
that
I mean,
looks
can I just
Certainly works for him.
Yeah, really. Can I just run on anyone's farm because it's wild and just pick their fruits and
Well,
vegetables?
interesting, because I don't consider baseball an endurance sport.
No, it's not.
And a Paleolithic diet does not bode well for endurance athletes because there's not enough carbs.
Mm.
So carbs are our number one fuel source, and we need to have them.
If you look at that
One
guy,
of my favorite C words, carbs.
Yeah, there you go.
Come over here. We can talk about that.
Oh, yeah, listen,
Yeah.
Vern makes excellent carbs. I'll tell you.
Darn straight.
Pasta.
You just
right
look at his
there.
belly, man. I can tell you all about carbs. Darn right.
I was gonna say though, Hunter Pence is a good advertisement for the paleo diet because that guy looks like he's just cut out of a piece of granite, and on top of that, he just seems like the happiest guy in the world. I'm not sure if he just has a happy gene to begin with, but maybe the paleo diet's made him even happier.
I don't know
know.
about that. Maybe
Yeah.
his fat paycheck that goes along.
Yeah,
Not
that's
true.
probably
Yeah.
it. That's
He
probably
can
it.
afford filet mignon.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
That's
true.
true.
Hey, Kim, when's the last time you had one of those Carl's Jr. sized cheeseburgers? When's the
Never.
last? With
Never.
just dripping from your? No, never.
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 Wow.
Never.
I have had my share of fast food in my life, but never a Carl's Jr.
Oh.
dripping.
One of those
burger.
big, giant, big.
I've
the
never
cheese.
eaten it in and out. My kids have.
Wow.
Fine.
Wow.
Wow.
And there's nothing inside your I don't know, want or desire to just God, let me just have one bite of that. No.
Not of a burger, of the fries, definitely.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I love McDonald's fries. I haven't had them
You know,
in
they do
15
make,
years,
they
but they
do
were
make
good
good fries. And Jack
They
in the Box
do.
makes the best shakes, and
But you
Okay.
got to be
Carl's Jr.
careful.
makes the best hamburger.
You got to be careful when you go to these fast food places because I guess there's this filler that they put in the meat, and if you saw it, it's like a pink goo.
Oh, it's
Ah,
pink
jeez.
slime.
Yeah, it's
Ah.
awful.
You will never eat another chicken McNugget
Yeah.
if you saw the pink
Yeah.
slime.
Well, let me follow up on the burger question with you. How mentally sharp or tough do you have to be to overcome that? And I'm appeasing to just the regular schmoes that are out there listening or watching. They're like, I people that just don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
I know,
Sure.
it's hard, and they make it cheaper, and it's on every
And
corner, and addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard to give up. You know, I quit eating red meat probably 25 years ago, so for me, it's just not even an issue.
Wow.
Not to say I don't walk in and go, God, I want a fry.
Right,
or my
right.
kids are eating, I'm
Yeah,
reaching
but
in the
fries
back
aren't red
seat.
meat, though.
That's right. That's right. So yeah,
No, but
so
do
we
you have
all
it-
have our thing.
Okay, so what happened? Did you decide vegetarian is the way to go, or
No, I'm not a total
Not to be all
vegetarian.
Sigmund Freud about it, but
No.
yeah,
No, I
you just woke up and went, that's it.
Yeah.
I kind of just didn't like it. I never
Wow.
really liked it as a kid, and so
Oh.
it was easy for
That's
me to
easy.
give up.
Okay, that doesn't
So
count
that doesn't
then.
really count.
Yeah.
I was always kind of a veggie person, just naturally.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, giving it like cheesecake. I'm not, some people are really hardcore cheesecake fans. You know that.
Damn,
that
Kim,
is
you must have been
painful.
you must have been a cheap date growing up. Oh, I'll just have she'll have the salad.
Yeah.
I know. Sometimes a fast food burger's cheaper than a salad.
I tell you, that's true. But I tell
It
you,
is true.
the best cheap diet or the best cheap date is to just take your wife to Costco and go through all those.
Oh.
When you're working as a tradition, let's say you got a client. Yeah, I mean, are you one of those? You know, let's see what you got in the fridge or the pantry. You're just taking stuff out.
I am a little bit
Yeah?
like that. Yeah, I do like to see. You
Wow.
got to meet people where they are, right?
Right.
So I'm not going to strip their fridge of everything, and I'm not going to throw it all away. But we will baby steps.
Right.
Yeah.
One food product at a time.
Is it one of these once a week, like a Biggest Loser? Okay, step on the scale. Let's see where we are.
Yep.
Wow,
You know,
really?
A lot
Yeah.
of people don't like the scale, so
Yeah.
they avoid it. There are other modes to
It's funny, actually,
figuring out
I don't
people's
mind. I mean,
health.
I didn't like it when I knew I was gaining too much weight, but just in general, though, I was getting to where I could, like, literally I'm serious, within a quarter pound, I knew it's a quarter pounder. I knew exactly how much I weighed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really
That's
weird.
good.
That is
yeah,
good.
but it's
Good
not good.
self-awareness,
It's,
as we
yes,
say.
except that when you then you get on, you go, shoot, man, I know I put on 2.5 pounds.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, this is not good.
And I did.
I got a question for Kim though, because we were talking about, I just got out of the water. I was surfing earlier today, and I wasn't super thirsty, but I just thought, what should I have? And water really is the best thing, isn't it? I mean, I do like coconut juice, and you said Gatorade is just not good for you,
Wait,
right?
did you say,
Gatorade,
did you
no
say
good.
Coke and a juice?
No.
Coconut
Coconut
juice. Oh,
juice.
shoot, man.
Coconut juice.
Coconut water. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Coconut water.
Right.
Okay.
Which is it's really it's good. It tastes it's nice
Tastes
for your
terrible.
Well, once you get used to it, it's not too bad.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Coconut water is very popular right now. It's got a little more potassium, a little bit of sugar, and a lot more flavor. So people will hydrate with it because they get tired of plain old boring water. Water is best.
What about those drops that you can add to add a little flavor?
Mio and some of
Or
those other
something, whatever they
companies.
call it,
Yeah, they're fine. If they're going to encourage you to drink
Drink
more
water,
water, then I say get them. But I don't want people adding fake sugar and fake coloring to their water.
Do you cringe when you see a baseball player or a football player going to the sidelines and they're going right to the Gatorade or whatever energy drink that is?
But yeah.
Really?
Not so much the pro athletes, especially football, because they're moving a lot. Baseball
They need that
players.
sugar to keep them going, don't they?
Yeah. The people I cringe the most are the kids.
Yeah.
When I see them walking around town with a gallon of Gatorade, or even some of our kids, Vern
Right.
and my kids have competed together, sitting on the sidelines for a 30-second swim, and they're drinking
Right.
a thing of
Yeah.
Gatorade.
So the sports drinks really aren't that necessary.
No, they're not necessary at all.
In fact, if anything,
But they're not as bad as Coca-Cola, right?
They're the same. They're the same amount of sugar.
Same amount of
Yeah,
sugar.
it's like
Yeah, I would
35
almost
grams.
say,
Wow.
I don't like to promote soda, but I would
Yeah.
almost rather my child drink a Coke than a Gatorade.
Is that
Wow.
right?
Especially because it's
Wow.
not stored in plastic. You can drink
Yeah, that's true.
a can of Coke. It doesn't have all the artificial blue, green. Doesn't
Did you
have
hear
natural
that, audience?
colors.
She's saying, "Go ahead and drink
No,
a
I am
Coke." No,
not
I know. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
But Kim, you need your daily supply of nitrites. Come on. Now.
Yes,
Hot dog
exactly.
with your soda.
Eating avocado.
You're not gonna believe this
Okay,
from looking at my
say it
gut.
fast and then
But I have never. But I do not drink soft drinks.
Either do I.
Oh, good
I do not. I will not
Good.
drink. I'll drink
Good.
water more than anything. Sometimes My favorite drink is cranberry juice and then
Yeah.
just cutting it with water.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
very
Okay.
thick. Okay, stay with us. Kim, we're going to continue on with you. We have a lot of good stuff to continue on with you. Okay, here's our second commercial break trivia question. Super Bowl quarterbacks. Who was the first quarterback to start and lose 2 Super Bowls, playing for 2 different teams? Fun question.
I got that one.
The first 3 emails with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Again, the question, who was the first quarterback to start and lose 2 Super Bowls playing for 2 different teams? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with Kim Juarez.
He was a
That's
guest.
Earl
He
Morrow,
was a
wasn't
guest.
That
Guest on
sucks
this
for
show.
that guy.
He was a guest on this show. I won't say. No,
It wasn't-
it was Craig Morton.
It was great.
It wasn't Earl Morrow?
No, not Earl Morton. Craig Morton. Craig Morton with the Cowboys in '70 and the Broncos in '77. Earl Morrow lost to the Jets in '68, but then he didn't.
He didn't come in.
No, he was retired by the '70s because Johnny Unitas started in 1970 and then got knocked out, and he came in and actually was the winning.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay, all right.
He just died recently. He was like in his 80s. Earl
Really?
Morrow. Yeah.
Mm.
He actually played. He started his career with the San Francisco 49ers. Believe it or not.
I did not know
I
that.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
early 1950s. He was Wyatt Tittle's backup, and then
Yeah.
John Brody came along and got that job.
What do you think of the Broncos cleaning house today?
That's
I was surprised. I was really surprised when it started to break.
Yeah.
I was like, what? John Fox out? What?
Yeah. Who are they going to fry? Who are they going to hire that's any better?
Rich was just watching the Broncos, John Elway.
3 straight 12
I
win
know.
seasons.
Come
That when he's
I
out,
know.
and then,
Well, that's
they
because
just,
they lose in the playoffs. But what are they
Yeah.
going to get? A guy who's any better?
Exactly. Okay, let's continue because
Yeah.
All right.
we've got to get a
Yeah,
lesson. Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Your 3 hosts here, Edward Brown, Vern Glenn, and Bruce McGann.
3-headed monster
That's it.
and a lady.
Yeah, and a lady.
Yeah.
She's our guest, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here was the second commercial break trivia question, Super Bowl quarterbacks. Who was the first quarterback to start and lose 2 Super Bowls playing for 2 different teams? Bruce.
Bruce?
That was one of my heroes, Craig Morton, with Dallas in 1970 and the Broncos in '77, and he's been a guest on
He's been a guest on our
Yes.
show, and I'm glad he's not here because he probably wouldn't have appreciated that question. But with all due respect,
Yeah.
Craig, we all love you very, very
Good guy.
much.
Marin County guy.
From
Oh,
I thought it was
I
from
didn't know that.
Campbell, California.
He is. He is from
Okay,
Campbell.
all right.
But
He
I'm
lives
just saying
now
he lives
in
in your
yeah.
hometown. He lives in your hometown, Mill Valley.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we are in the studio here with Kim Juarez, who is the CEO of Lola.
Trying to get us
Actually,
fit.
That's it.
Not bad.
By the way, have you seen her videos, her Lola videos? Have you seen her working these?
No.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
she's
that.
these. I mean, those
She's the bomb?
those heavy ropes
Yeah.
that they are these
Battle
football.
ropes.
She's
Oh,
she's
yeah.
working those, and then there was I wouldn't call it a Y band, but you had this band around
Oh,
a
yeah.
fence. And you're like, yeah, just and I guess these are things that you can do at home
Yes,
if
you
you
can.
had it. Yeah.
You can.
I can bench press the band.
There you go.
There you
Okay.
go. That's a start.
That's
Yeah.
a start. Okay. Which is better, a low carb or a low fat diet?
Ooh, good question.
Good question.
Mm.
again, this time of year, people either want low carb or no fat.
Mhm.
I would say neither are bad.
Okay.
What I tell people are what you can sustain the longest on. And from what we've seen, people cannot stick to a low carb diet for very long.
What do you do?
I'm a low fat person.
You're a low fat. Okay.
Primarily.
You know what's funny though? My wife though, she's been, when you say how long, I mean, I don't know what a long time is, but I'd say she's been doing it for at least 15 years.
Has she?
Yeah.
Where does she get her carbs?
From me.
Ah.
And no, she'll do like, vegetables and avocado, and I mean,
That's
she'll,
bad.
and yeah, well, that's true. That's a good question because she doesn't do no carbs because she was doing competing and all this kind of stuff, and she could leg press more than I. But she does do the low carb. What was the? Oh gosh, we teased about this we said, yeah, I wish someone would accuse me of being on steroids, and at my age, I'm happy if they accuse me of being on the Atkins diet. Was it the Atkins diet?
The Atkins diet,
or
yes.
the South Beach diet?
Yep, they're all along the low carb
Low carb.
spectrum. Some are lower carb than others. I would say your wife is probably including beans and lentils and starchy
Yeah.
vegetables and things where you can get some other carbohydrates. That can be maintained a long time.
Okay.
It's the very strict Atkins that we saw. I actually know someone who was very healthy, went on the Atkins, a woman in her 40s, and had a heart attack.
Wow.
She lived, but it was because of the switch in her diet and too much
Wow.
fat.
I can ask a question. Well, why are women so much more responsible with their diets than men? Now, it just seems like that is true.
Is there more
It
vegan on
really,
every-
yeah, it does seem like the willpower
We're
is there.
extrinsically motivated by our external factors,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
The scale, what people think about the way we look.
Well,
is it also
women
because-
dress for women, not for men?
But is it also
Is that
because-
true? Is that true?
The women
Women dress for women?
Okay.
Oh yes, women dress for women.
Ah,
Have you
okay.
seen those movies, the psychological studies done?
Yeah.
But I was going to say too, Kim, you're more in touch with the regular cycles of life, whether or not you have kids or not. Women still go through menstruation, which is like changing the seasons. We don't.
That's
Men,
true.
men's cycles are much more subtle, so you're more into. Maybe that's part of it. You're in tune with your.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with just I work with thousands of women all the time, and women you have to feel good because if you don't feel good, no one around you feels
Right.
good. You have
That's
a lot
true.
of responsibility.
Well, if mama ain't happy, then neither is anybody else.
That's
That's
true.
right.
That's
Happy
right.
wife, happy life.
Oh,
I'm
that's
on
right.
my cycle right now, and I feel like crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife started. It's amazing. She started changing her diet and exercising, and she gets a real high stress job every day, hardcore. And she's lost like 15 pounds, and it's just every morning she gets up and she's in a great mood. And I'm saying, isn't this wonderful? I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Yeah.
All you have to do is cut out the coffee in the morning and eat healthy foods and
Here's the most important
Well,
question I
and
have.
and exercise.
What do you
which
do when your
should
wife
do.
says, "How do I look in this dress?" That's a tough one.
The
Okay.
loaded question.
Yeah,
That's
very
right.
good. Okay, so what is the best method for weight loss?
I always tell people a balanced diet that you can follow that's got protein, carbs, and fat, healthy fats, lots of fiber.
What are healthy fats?
Healthy fats are things like
Avocado.
avocados,
Yeah,
as
love
you
that stuff.
mentioned, nuts, nut butters, olive oil, walnut oil, vegetable oil. Just trying to stick away from the saturated fats
But-
that
but-
come from animals.
But you have to be careful with how much. I mean, like I've got like literally in my little refrigerator here, I got a whole thing of this honey almond butter that is awesome. But the scary thing is, I mean, I could
You
literally.
could eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? I love peanut butter. It's my favorite food, but
Yeah.
I have to limit it. You do. You have to limit everything.
You know,
Even the good healthy stuff.
psychologically, if I just imagine, like, theoretically, whatever, our stomach is about as big as our fist, and if I mentally think about that, and I look about how much food is on my plate, that actually helps a little bit, but only for a short time.
But you have to remember that stomach, as we get older, expands. It's like a balloon,
Yeah.
That's what everybody loves about it.
What about the client that says, "Look, Kim, like I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I work late. I eat later. Yeah, it'd be nice if I didn't have like a big meal after say 7 o'clock, but it's just not realistic."
Right, good point.
I tell people to try to eat 3/4 of their calories by 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Ooh,
No
that's
matter what your job is,
Yeah, 'cause you gotta sleep.
because you sleep after work, but that way you are fueling your body and your mind while you need it with the food and the calories, and then lightening up in the evening. Not to say don't eat and don't eat after 7 o'clock, but just make sure that it's only 1/4 of your day's calories.
And you
coming in
do
the second
your
part.
carbs in the morning. I mean, okay, this is the theoretical
I
thing, right?
know.
Okay, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince and dinner like a pauper.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, it's kind of that same
No.
methodology.
Why is it that people don't like to eat a big breakfast in the morning? I'm one of these people who loves a big breakfast. Is it because they don't give themselves the time, or they're just not hungry?
I bet that's a lot of it because I'm a get up and go kind of guy.
It's time. You know what a lot of it is? Most Americans are eating too much at night, so they wake up not hungry. So it's a constant cycle of I'm still full from the night before, and then you continue to not eat all morning, and then you start the cycle over again.
See, when my wife,
what dictates your daily calorie intake?
Everybody's or mine?
Well, not your, because you're. I mean, come on, you're elite, but the average schmo though.
You know, that question is really hard because people come to me and say, how many calories should I eat? I
Right.
don't like people to focus on
1,500 calories,
Yeah,
no more than
right.
9 grams of fat, you will lose weight.
Right.
And women, no more than 1,200.
Right.
You know,
Oh my gosh.
you don't know anything
1,200.
about a person, so
Yeah.
I can't even generalize calories to people. I start with food. We don't eat calories, we eat food. You know, we don't want to live by numbers.
But I gotta say,
But
though,
then how do you figure out? Well, okay, it's 4:00 and I've had 3/4 of my.
Well,
caloric.
Generally
you
what's
would put
going in.
together a meal plan.
All right.
and-
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I do have to say that, and I do appreciate when restaurants do this. I mean, literally, it really does help me to avoid
That's
certain
good.
things. Yeah,
I'm glad
I mean,
to hear that.
it's probably not good for them because
I
otherwise I'd
know.
be eating a whole bunch
No,
of
what's
I
this
wondered about
Well,
that.
like you go over to some of these restaurants, like even like say BJ's,
Right.
and they're very nice about, or Cheesecake Factory or whatever. They're very nice about putting, this salad, has like 2,000 calories in
Right.
it because of all the stuff that's in it. When ordinarily you go, I'm having a salad.
You're right.
I'm
Right,
People
right.
say, Kim, I just had a
Yeah.
salad. Well,
Too
let's
much
break the
dressing.
salad down.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's another thing I got a question about. Is it better to eat like 5 small meals a day rather than 3 big meals a day?
Very good question, and yes, I'm really a fan of people eating small, frequent meals through the day. I kind of like the backbone of your day to be 3 meals and then 2 planned mini meals or snacks. Because if we plan a meal, that's the magic word, planned meals. If you plan a snack, then you usually have it with you, or you have a plan of something healthy to grab instead of going to Starbucks and grabbing a 300-calorie latte and a
Right.
400-calorie.
Well, I don't know. There's Cold Stone right across the street. Listen, I will pay you lots and lots of money if you can figure out how I can eat as much ice cream as I want late at night and lose weight.
Lose
Do you
weight.
remember those fat blockers they had about 10 years ago?
Yeah, I used to take that. It was great.
That would probably be a good combo to your Cold Stone.
Okay, so now sugar. Is sugar bad?
Sugar is not bad.
I
Sugar
love
gets
this
a
woman.
bad rap. I have a sweet
We
tooth.
like her.
We like her
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
See how balanced it all is?
Yeah.
I'm feeling all better about myself. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No food is bad. Too much refined sugar doesn't really have a place in our diet. But I will tell you, the average American is eating 22 teaspoons of sugar
Ooh.
every day.
Oh,
No, that's nothing
God.
Yeah.
per hour.
That's
20
added sugar.
22 teaspoons
22
a day?
teaspoons.
Yeah, it's about
Wow.
350 calories of just added
Yeah.
sugars.
Oh.
And those are your Gatorades and your sodas and your
Okay, I
sugar cereals.
That's one hell of a visual. Can you imagine
I
having
know.
22 teaspoons
Right.
just
Okay.
filled with sugar?
Well,
Go
all I
ahead.
want to know is how many 5-pound See's candies can I have?
That's right.
Boxes
Yeah.
Per day.
Well, that's sugar and fat, and that's a whole nother
That's
brain
the
chemistry.
combination.
Yes,
Listen, when I
that's
get-
the magic combination.
I'm very good. When I go on a cruise, I make sure I keep myself limited to 1 dessert per meal. But just per meal.
That's
What
why I
if-
don't want to go on a cruise because I'd be all over that
it's-
dessert table.
they're great. They're
What
scary,
what
but
about the snacker? I know a guy.
He knows the guy.
Yeah, he knows the guy.
Yeah, we have to do it once we're
Yeah,
removed.
right.
Where every day, no day is the same. So because of that, because he doesn't know when he's going to be able to, break and really have a meal, he's got like a saltless nuts and like rice checks, and it just kind of snacks on those.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Saltless nuts. Where have I heard that before? Oh yes, that's
my fantasy football team. Yeah.
Oh.
But I actually have it's Planet Saltless Nuts.
Those calories add up quickly. I'm glad you have nuts. There's protein in the Chex mix, or the Chex, is that what you
Yeah.
said? That's carbs, but it's a lot of salt in the Chex. And the nut calories add up really quickly. So I'd say portion it out in a little bag.
What's the thing about the
Stick
salt?
to that.
It just kind of doesn't release the water.
No, and then
Is
you're
it-
bloated and
Yeah.
can affect your blood pressure.
All that good stuff. Any kind of exercise tips you want to share with us?
I want people to find an exercise that they like and that they can stick with.
eating. Hand to mouth, hand to
That
mouth.
doesn't bring that
Yeah,
many
all
calories.
those curls? Come on. Yeah.
You don't know how fast I can
Yeah.
eat.
Joey Chestnut here, huh? The speed eater.
I don't know.
I can't even stand to watch that.
Oh,
I
know that guy. I know
You
him.
do?
Yes, I do. We used to bring him in when I was working at Comcast as a producer.
Wow.
We used to bring him in on a regular basis. Nicest guy in the world, but that is so unhealthy.
But I don't even understand where they put it
Where does
because
he put it?
He's got a stomach. He explained this to me. His doctor. He talked with his doctor about it. His stomach he's expanded. He's conditioned his stomach to expand quickly, and he is.
Yeah, but how do you?
Well, he's in his 30s.
He's
I don't.
thin too, isn't he?
He's
Fairly
very
Yeah, he
he's
is.
a normal looking guy.
Well, like us older
Yes.
Yeah.
older guys, I used to be skinny as a rail. I ain't skinny as a rail no mo.
Well,
You
we all
look
were.
good, though.
We all were skinny at one time.
After those competitions, does he go with the finger down the? I mean, once it's over.
No. He just
Wow.
and it's like 10 pounds.
Man.
He goes to Jimbo's hot dogs for an after.
Damn.
I have a dog, a 30-pound beagle corgi, who sometimes gets into our cat food. One time he ate a whole 10-pound bag of cat food, and we saw him. We got home. He looked like he'd been pumped up with and
He was
of course
not happy.
he wasn't happy, and we weren't unhappy because we were cleaning up a lot of messes that night. But I'm just saying, Joey Chestnut looks like my dog after he's had all that, hot dogs.
Well, redirecting it a little
Sorry,
bit. I mean, would you be happy with a client who walks a half hour every day, or some clients like, oh, I got to get in shape fast, and they just binge exercise, knowing that
Good
it's like
question. The all or nothing approach to exercise and or diet does not work. It never will. And I see thousands of people like that out there, and it's just disheartening.
Yeah.
Walk every day.
I'll tell you what, before we get to our commercial break here, because we're running out of time, how do people get a hold of you for, like, your websites? They have questions.
now that we've hooked the audience.
A lot of good
They
stuff.
can contact me through teamlola.com.
Okay.
That's my website.
Great. Listen, anybody who says sugar isn't bad is my favorite person in the world. Okay.
There's a place for everything.
Here is our third and final commercial break. Trivia question, Super Bowl quarterbacks. Here's the quote, okay? I was the first quarterback to lead a team to a come-from-behind Super Bowl victory and the first quarterback to collect 3 Super Bowl rings, even though I started in only 1 Super Bowl. Who am I? All right, that's the question. Stay with us. We're going to have some closing comments on Sports Econ 101.
How do you get Super Bowl rings if you only started? Oh, he was on the
Oh,
team.
he was on the roster, and everybody gets a ring if you're on the.
Was Joe Montana in the Super Bowl?
He won 4.
Won 4 of them.
4 of them.
So when you were asking that question, what's your first memory? That was, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't know if he was actually in one or was I remembering everything?
You know the great commercial.
The one with the
You
cat?
seen that commercial with what Flutie?
And he's got all the
yeah, you see that one, Bruce?
No.
Doug Flutie, Bo Jackson,
Oh.
and Herschel Walker,
Right.
and Joe Montana. They're all in a room, and they're all getting ready to watch college football playoff game. And so Flutie's like, man, what a great team sport. But I'll tell you, hey, the ultimate prize is the trophy. And he goes like that with Heisman. And then Herschel goes, hey, I won one of those. And then Bo Jackson says, hey, I won one of those too. And they look at Joe, and he goes, oh, what a great accomplishment. and he's got his 4 Super Bowl rings.
That's great.
Yeah, great
I
accomplishment.
love it.
That's a
That is
commercial.
good.
That is really good.
I haven't seen that.
It's great.
Joe Montana was one of the most soft-spoken, regular guys. Not really the most exciting person to talk to,
No.
but just a really nice, down-to-earth guy. Very, very simple, plain-spoken. His wife is the brains, definitely in that.
Yeah.
She is marketed him. She's
They're
invested.
com-
His, oh yeah.
They're coming in tomorrow. They're coming in for a taping or something
Oh,
tomorrow.
Are they?
both of them?
For because Channel 5 now they're in this furious campaign now to kind of get a jump on Super Bowl 50
Oh, so
which
they're
is
going to carry
here
Oh, yeah,
next year, which is carried by CBS.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
so
you go.
they're doing
You're
all
gonna be
these.
a busy guy.
Yeah, they're sending a general assignment reporter to the Super Bowl because, I mean, once Super Bowl's over, then San Francisco's on the clock.
Yeah.
So they're.
I don't
they're
think we have to
just
worry about
being
the
really-
Niners or the Raiders being in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
next year.
No.
I don't think
I
that's
don't know,
right.
Arizona
Del
was
Rio
almost
might
like
just spin them
Isn't it
around.
amazing? There's been
I
almost
get it.
50 of these, and
8-8,
not
I'd
once
be happy.
has
I'd be very happy.
the home team hosted a Super Bowl.
Close,
they're-
close with us.
Niners-
Close with
the Niners.
Stanford, but
Also,
Yeah.
the Rams in Pasadena, 1979, they lost to Pittsburgh. but technically they were in their backyard.
Yeah, that's in the back.
Yeah,
You guys remember all this?
Oh, because it's our job.
Yeah.
It's
We
not
got
my job,
nothing better to do. We're sports nerds. You know how some people
I'd love
remember.
to see
Yeah,
you.
same as you would remember
nutrition
if-
facts.
Just wait till you get to get us on baseball.
Oh boy, yeah, baseball's our
I'm so
favorite.
glad I'm not here on that.
Talked that
Yeah.
for a long time. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host. This is our last shot for the day. I've been along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. Here's our third and final trivia question: Super Bowl quarterbacks. I was the first quarterback to lead a team to a come-from-behind Super Bowl victory and the first quarterback to collect 3 Super Bowl rings, even though I started in only 1 Super Bowl. Who am I?
Roger Staubach?
No. But I'll give you a hint. You guys did mention him in the show.
Not Craig Morton.
Not Craig Morton.
Oh, Earl Morrall?
Yes.
Earl
Morrall. The
Earl Morrall.
Cinderella Man.
Oh, he won with Baltimore, but what were the other two?
Miami Dolphins.
Oh, of course, he backed up Bob Greasy.
That's
Yep.
right.
I forgot about that.
Don't
Yeah.
forget about it.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what, Kim Juarez, you were awesome today.
Thank
And again,
you.
like I
Nice
said,
to be
anybody
here.
who says I can have sugar, can I have bacon too?
Occasionally.
Occasional bacon.
Oh.
Turkey bacon?
Back to that saturated
Turkey bacon
fat.
better than the other?
No, they're all the same.
Oh, they're all the same.
Really?
Oh,
Turkey
man.
bacon's not better.
No,
Wow.
it's not.
Okay, I'm glad to hear
Boy.
that. I like regular bacon.
See, we could have done a whole
I
other
would say
segment
just
on myths broken by.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that'll be the next
Kim
one.
Juarez.
The
yeah.
next time we're going to definitely
Right,
have you
right.
on. Okay, here's our thoughts for the day. Good guys are a dime a dozen, but an aggressive leader is priceless. And that came from Army's top football coach, Red Blake.
Ah.
Right? And the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. Who said that?
Robert E. Lee.
Douglas MacArthur. I don't know.
Another football coach.
Ah, Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi.
All right, okay, so thanks again, Kim, for being with us. Enjoyed you immensely.
Oh, thank you.
All right, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective. We're going to also be giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. And let's see, do we have a guest next week? I don't.
What are you looking at me for?
Howard Cosell is coming back from, from heaven. Mr.
Listen,
Cosell.
Kim, you were so good. I want to have you back on. I want to have you back
I'd be
on
happy
next
to
week.
come back.
Well, I don't know if I'll be on next week, but we'll definitely have you on again.
Great.
All right. Well, I'm looking at you.
Okay, all right.
It's his birthday. Happy
That's
birthday.
Happy
That's right, happy
birthday.
birthday.
Thank you very much.
Can we sing Vernon Glenn happy birthday?
And happy birthday to you. too,
Happy
Edward.
birthday to
That's
you
right,
too.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Hey, I'm this many.
When did you have your birthday?
What?
Coming
When was your
up.
birthday? Oh, it's coming up.
It's coming up
Saturday.
today, January 17th.
Well,
While,
my wife-
while this show is airing.
Jeez,
Yes,
and my
yeah.
wife's on the 23rd.
All right.
Jeez, everybody's turning.
Goodbye, everybody. Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host. We'll see you next week.
Good night,
So
America.
long. That's it.
All right.
And way downtown.
And that's the show.